Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 songs banned by Radio 1.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be looking at 10 different bands and tracks that the BBC refused to play on their premier radio channel. Number 10. Atomic, Blondie. How does a track that hit number 1 in the UK charts get banned from play on its most prolific radio station years later? Well, conflict can cause that. When the Gulf War was taking place, the BBC wanted to avoid any songs whose title or lyrics would connote with tools of war. Blondie's Atomic was unfortunately checking that box. But it wasn't the only song banned for this same reason at the time, as 67 other songs, including Bang Bang My Baby Shot Me Down by Cher, were also listed. Number 9. A Day in the Life, The Beatles. Yes, that's right, even the most prolific band in British history saw itself opposed by the BBC.
He blew his mind out in a car.
6 words. That's all it took for this song to be banned from play on Radio 1 when it was first released. The line in question was, "I'd love to turn you on." And no, it wasn't deemed inappropriate for being sexual. Instead, this line was in reference to drugs, which Paul McCartney would later confirm. Though it apparently hurt the Beeb execs at the time, they felt they had no other choice but to keep it off their stations. Number 8. We Don't Need This Fascist Groove Thang, Heaven 17. It's a shame that this track was banned, because it was primed for success upon release. You're probably wondering what would cause the BBC to block a song that denounces racist and fascist beliefs, but that wasn't really the issue. The track seemingly took shots at Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, as well as US President Ronald Reagan.
Across a great wide ocean, and Reagan's president-elect, fascist God in motion.
The latter of the two was deemed too contentious, and fearing the song libeled President Reagan, they settled on never playing it. Number 7. I Want Your Sex, George Michael. With a title like that, how could this song possibly get banned?
I want your sex.
Okay, yes, it's quite easy to understand what got this one on the naughty list, but it actually runs a little deeper than the title alone. The song was released amidst the AIDS crisis, and the powers that be decided that this song was guilty of promoting casual sex. The stigma around gay men actually did not play a part in the song's ban, as George Michael himself had yet to come out. Number 6. Relax, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. It's a rare occurrence when the corporation that banned a song is responsible for its popularity.
Relax, don't do it when you wanna go to it. Relax, don't do it when you wanna come.
Before Frankie Goes to Hollywood performed Relax on Top of the Pops, it was nowhere near the mega hit it would become. This was before the execs at the BBC suddenly realised that the song was overtly erotic and decided to ban it from all their stations and TV shows.
When you wanna
Though some actually got the memo way too late. DJ Mike Reed once had to cut the track live on air after being alerted by the higher-ups that it was on the ban list. Number 5. Smack My Bitch Up, The Prodigy. Again, with a name like that, what do you expect? Prodigy blew up when they hit the mainstream back in the 90s. But when they weren't causing panic for the BBC with Firestarter, which they believed could influence arsonists, they were shaking them to the core with this electronic banger. The BBC labelled the track as sexist and potentially inciting violence against women. The song was never allowed to appear on Radio 1 or even Top of the Pops, despite its chart-topping success. Number 4. Glad to Be Gay, Tom Robinson. Tom Robinson had one goal in mind: to create the anthem for the Gay Pride Parade in 1976.
The British police are the best in the world. I don't believe one of these stories I've heard.
It wasn't released in time for that, but it did manage to find its audience and climb the UK charts in 1978. Despite the song's success, however, the then much less progressive BBC decided that the tune was not fit for the air.
Sing if you're glad to be gay. Sing if you're happy that way.
In protest to this, the Radio 1 DJ John Peel ignored the ban and played the track on air anyway, much to the chagrin of the XX. Number 3. Lola, The Kinks. It wasn't just the BBC who banned this one. Radio station across the globe couldn't handle the subject matter of Lola.
I asked her her name and in a dark brown voice she said Lola, hello, Lola.
The song implies that the titular Lola is either a trans woman or a cross-dresser, something that was seen as taboo back in 1970 when the song was released. This was all it took for stations to add it to their ban list, but surprisingly, this wasn't actually the reason the song was banned from Radio 1. In fact, it was simply because the song mentioned Coca-Cola, and product placement was not allowed.
Drink champagne and it tastes like Coca-Cola, C-O-L-A Cola.
Number 2. God Save the Queen, Sex Pistols. It's not exactly a secret that the Sex Pistols were a controversial bunch when they rose to fame in the late 70s.
God save the Queen! The fascist regime!
Therefore, it should be no surprise that this classic punk anthem was on the receiving end of a ban hammer by the Beeb. The song, which was highly critical of the government and monarchy, took the nation by storm, but the radio station believed it could inspire some sort of rebellion, and so opted to never play it. Hilariously, this did little to affect the sales of the record, as it would become a massive hit and chart highly. Number 1. Space Oddity, David Bowie. This one's actually a pretty funny story.
Ground control to Major Tom.
The song was released in anticipation of the Apollo 11 1969 moon landing, the biggest story in the world at the time. BBC had found their anthem to play when advertising the event, but as noted by Bowie himself, it seemed they didn't exactly pick up on the lyrics. The song tells the tale of Major Tom's unsuccessful mission in outer space, where he eventually meets his end.
For here am I sitting in a tin can.
Upon realizing this, the radio station immediately blocked it and would only resume once again when the Apollo 11 team successfully returned home safe.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.